Since the beginning of time, this battle has never ended.
We are fire. We reshape, we create, we burn through the old. Move forward. The world does not forgive stagnation.
We are water. We surround. We adapt. We define the flow. We waver endlessly. We only watch.
Because this is not a war to win, but a war to exist. Now, which side are you on? Will you move, or will you watch?
Guys, I used to be the ultimate extrovert. I loved leading groups, forming new circles, and couldn't stand seeing someone alone. I was always the one chosen by introverts, and I thrived on social energy. But at the same time, I always longed to be alone. I wanted to be a loner. I wished people wouldn't notice me, wouldn't look for me, and just let me be. Having lots of people around seemed great at first, but it also came with responsibilities, checking up on people, listening to their problems, helping them solve their issues. It became impossible to focus solely on my own life, and I got exhausted. Then life happened. I moved abroad, got busier, and my friends all got married and had kids. My social circle started shrinking, and I thought, this is my chance. So I took the extreme route and reduced my friendships to zero. And wow, guys, I could finally breathe. It was amazing to fully take care of myself. No more spending unnecessary money on birthdays, no more feeling obligated to attend random events for people I barely knew, no more late-night emotional labor for others. For the first time, I could focus on myself, and it felt incredible. Some doctor once said that people who know how to enjoy solitude have higher self-esteem, and it makes sense. If you always feel the need to do something when you're alone, it might be because you're trying to fill a void. I'm genuinely happy living this way. Maybe I wasn't an extrovert who wanted to be a loner after all. Maybe I was just a born loner who didn't realize it. These days in Korea, MBTI has become a basic way for people to introduce themselves. Are you an extrovert? Are you a T? People love categorizing each other, but let's be honest, MBTI isn't really that accurate. It's based on self-assessment. How you see yourself might be totally different from how others perceive you. You might think you're a deeply introspective and poetic loner, so you assume you're an introvert. But to others, you might come off as loud and outgoing. What really matters isn't just behavior, but the reason behind that behavior. For example, some people are super talkative even with strangers. That might seem like an extroverted trait, but if they do it because they feel awkward in silence, then it's actually an introverted behavior forced out of discomfort. So MBTI isn't about your actual personality. It's more like an idealized version of yourself. Some people hate MBTI or don't understand why it's popular, but from a medical standpoint, I actually think its rise is a good thing. Before MBTI, society had this rigid standard. Being outgoing was good, and enjoying solitude meant you were a loser. But now, you can just say, oh, I'm an I-type. No problem, no judgment. It's helped normalize different ways of existing. America in particular still struggles with this. They push external activities like crazy because it helps with college and job applications. Now, just like MBTI classifies personalities, traditional medicine also has ways to categorize people. Because personality, health, and body type are all interconnected. If someone is sensitive, there's usually a physiological reason behind it. Maybe their body is weak, so their senses are heightened. If they lack energy, they're easily irritated and become more sensitive. We often say someone has a lot of yin or a lot of yang, but no one is purely yin or purely yang. Everything in the universe has both. Day exists because night exists. The sun exists because the moon does. Light exists because there is darkness. Yin and yang must balance each other. They rely on each other but also act as rivals, like two best friends who are also constantly competing. Yin and yang, interdependence. Yin and yang depend on each other. You can't have light without darkness. For example, I love houseplants, and while sunlight is essential, too much of it isn't good either. Plants need the darkness at night to grow properly. That's why when it's constantly cloudy during rainy seasons, plants start to wilt. Yin and yang must exist together. Yin and yang, mutual restriction. At the same time, yin and yang restrict each other. They need balance. If one side gets too strong, the other has to push back. If it's too cold, the body works hard to generate heat. If it's too hot, the body seeks ways to cool down. It's like rival siblings. I need you, but you better not get stronger than me. Yin and yang, transformation. Yin and yang can also transform into each other. Day doesn't exist forever. Night eventually comes. Light doesn't stay forever. It fades into darkness. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. When one reaches its peak, the other takes over. Yin and yang, growth and decline. When one increases, the other decreases. For example, as daytime yang gets longer, nighttime yin shortens. This constant push and pull is what keeps balance in check. But if one side becomes too dominant, problems arise. For instance, men are generally considered to have stronger yang energy due to testosterone, while women, influenced by estrogen, lean towards yin. This isn't about superiority. It's just a fact of biology. But if these hormones are out of balance, say a woman has excessive yang, testosterone, it can lead to issues like infertility or hormonal disorders. Similarly, if a man has too much yin, estrogen, it can result in issues like low sperm count, reduced libido, or even erectile dysfunction. And then there's aging. As people grow older, their hormone production shifts. That's why menopause and andropause, male menopause, happen. Understanding whether you're more yin or yang can help you recognize potential health issues before they escalate. Yin energy. Yin in Chinese characters means cold, hidden, shade, things like that. When people say someone has strong yin energy, they're usually quiet, don't talk much, but they hear everything. They sit in the back listening and maybe laugh to themselves. They're more introverted and reserved. Yin energy is cold, still, contracted, inward, dark, and stable. It's the essence of winter. It's associated with the lower position, the inside, the internal. In terms of gender, it's feminine. It's also connected to nighttime, the moon, and water. When you think of cold winter and a withdrawn feeling, that's yin energy. That's why women usually feel colder than men. They need more yin, more female hormones to function properly. So if you tend to have cold hands and feet, feel lazy, and get chills easily, you might have more yin energy. Maybe you have more estrogen. This applies to men too. Some men naturally have higher estrogen levels. People with dominant yin energy often have soft, weak voices. They don't speak up much. They think a lot internally but don't express much, which can make them seem cold or distant. But on the flip side, they have deep concentration, introspection, and are great at research or detailed work. Remember how yin means hidden and shaded? Women are biologically designed to carry and protect a baby inside their womb. Their body stores and nurtures rather than expels energy. It embraces and shelters. That's why, biologically speaking, women have more yin energy than men. Again, when I say men and women, I mean in a biological sense based on chromosomes, not psychological gender. Women also tend to be more meticulous and detail-oriented. Since yin energy is about focus and depth, women often seem more sensitive or perceptive. To put it simply, the concept of yin energy is an ancient way of describing the qualities we now associate with female hormones. Of course, yin energy isn't limited to just hormones, but that's an easy way to understand it. Now, what happens during menopause? As estrogen levels drop, women may experience symptoms like increased body hair, higher body temperature, and hot flashes. And what if a man has more estrogen than testosterone? He may become more emotional, struggle to build muscle, have a softer or higher voice, experience hair thinning, have poor circulation, feel cold, or have a lower sex drive. It's not about being feminine in behavior. People who tend to avoid confrontation, hide their emotions, and suppress their feelings are often high in yin energy. Since cold energy affects the body, those with dominant yin often deal with cold-related health issues. They might catch colds or infections easily. Their reproductive organs, which should be warm, become cold, leading to issues like menstrual problems, fertility issues, or even breast conditions. If you have poor digestion, your stomach may be cold, meaning it's sluggish and slow. Even if you think your body is warm, check your lower abdomen. If it's cold, your body is leaning toward yin imbalance. If that's the case, you need to take care of yourself in a way that warms up your body. Cold bodies are like winter. Everything slows down, circulation gets poor, and things stagnate. Keeping warm improves circulation and helps your organs function properly. Yang energy. Now let's talk about yang energy. If yin is estrogen, then yang is testosterone. Yang is all about expression, explosion, movement, and action. If yin is storage and concealment, yang is release and outward energy. In Chinese, the character for yang includes the sun because it's hot, intense, and restless. Yang energy can't sit still. It has to be expressed and released. Yang energy is heat, activity, expansion, extroversion, rising, the outside, the surface. It's the sun, daytime, fire, sky, and masculinity. Because men need to release sperm, they have higher testosterone and more yang energy. People with high yang energy tend to be louder, have stronger or deeper voices, and may talk a lot. They might be easily irritated, quick-tempered, and prone to overheating. Their faces often flush red, and they may sweat or feel hot more easily. Since they focus on what's visible rather than what's hidden, they're often simpler in thinking and less emotionally complex compared to yin-dominant people. They may not overthink things, but are more prone to outbursts of anger. They also tend to be better suited for active jobs rather than those that require sitting still and concentrating. So what happens when you have too much yang energy? Think about fire. It rises, right? So yang energy moves upward. That's why excessive yang can lead to health issues in the upper body, headaches, high blood pressure, nosebleeds, heart palpitations, and even strokes. It can also cause inflammation, mouth ulcers, and eye strain. And yes, hair loss is included. If you've ever been to a doctor about hair loss, Western medicine will talk about testosterone, and Eastern medicine will talk about heat-related hair loss. They're talking about the same thing. Too much heat in the body dries up fluids. Imagine boiling water. Eventually, it evaporates and disappears. That's why excessive yang energy can lead to dehydration, thick phlegm, diabetes, or even kidney stones. A body that's overheated is like a blazing summer. Plants thrive in spring and early summer, but in extreme heat, they wither and die. That's why those with excessive yang energy need to cool down. Women can also have excessive yang energy. A woman with high testosterone levels may develop more body hair, struggle with mood swings, and be prone to conditions like PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, which is linked to high testosterone levels. Rather than just looking at gender, you should assess whether your body's yin and yang are balanced. If one is overpowering the other, that's when problems arise. Differentiating between excess and deficiency in yin-yang. We often talk about having an excess of yin or an excess of yang, right? But there are different types of excess and deficiency. Is there truly an overabundance of yin beyond the average, or does it just appear that way because yang is lacking? These distinctions also affect one's constitution. It's like a dog barking. Not all barking is the same. Some bark because they're fearless, while others bark out of fear as a defense mechanism. Likewise, we can classify conditions as excess or deficiency. The key is to determine, do you truly have an abundance of energy, or are you actually deficient? Excess means that one aspect, either yin or yang, is overwhelming beyond the average. If they are cold, they are just cold. No other complicated symptoms. If they are hot, they are just hot. That's it. No ambiguity, just straightforward dominance of one side. Deficiency, on the other hand, happens when one aspect is too weak, making the other seem stronger in contrast. That's why deficiency symptoms tend to be ambiguous. Instead of saying, I am absolutely cold, or I am burning hot, it feels more like, I think I might be cold. Or maybe warm. There's an uncertainty about the body's state. For example, you might think, I have a lot of internal heat. I hate summer. I must have a strong yang constitution. But if you truly had an excess of heat, your entire face would turn red. That's a true excess condition. However, if only your cheekbones are red, like a slight blush, it's not just heat. It means your body lacks yin, so the heat isn't circulating properly and instead rises upward. Many women experience this. Their hands and feet are warm and they don't feel cold overall. But if they touch their lower abdomen, it feels cold. They may also feel relief when using a warm pack during menstrual cramps. That means they don't have a true heat-dominant constitution. Instead, they have deficiency heat. They lack yin. Another example. Let's say someone says, I have a cold body. I get cold easily and have poor circulation. If that person also experiences swelling, like facial or body puffiness, that's excess yin. Their body is just overwhelmingly cold, period. But if instead their skin is dry, pale, and thin, and they feel weak, this is yang deficiency. The body lacks yang, making it seem like yin is taking over. How to balance yin and yang? If there is too much yang, too much heat, cool it down. For true heat excess, drink cooling teas, like cassia seed tea, chrysanthemum tea, green tea, barley tea. These help, especially if you feel hot, your face is flushed, your eyes feel strained, or you have frequent headaches. But be cautious. If you already have a cold constitution, these may make you even colder. For deficiency heat, instead of cooling down, you need to nourish yin first. Ophiophagon tea, jujube tea. These help replenish fluids and gently balance inner heat. While these herbs may seem unfamiliar in the West, they are widely used in Asia. If there is too much yin, too much coldness, reduce excess yin. For true cold excess, use warming ingredients to counteract it. Ginger tea, cinnamon tea, mugwort tea. In Korea, there's a traditional drink called sujeongwa, which is a cinnamon-based punch often consumed for its warming effects. But if someone has yang deficiency, meaning they are cold but also dry and weak, then they need to build energy rather than just warming up. Jujube tea ginseng, or red ginseng tea. In Korea, when people feel weak, they eat samgyetang, ginseng chicken soup, a dish with ginseng and medicinal herbs to boost energy. Yin and yang are both essential. Everyone needs both yin and yang in balance. The problem occurs when one side becomes excessive or deficient. If an issue persists, it can develop into serious illness. For example, cancer may form due to stagnant cold energy, leading to slow cell growth and lumps, or due to excessive heat drying out bodily fluids, causing cellular clumping. If your symptoms are mild and not at the level of requiring urgent surgery, understanding your constitution and adjusting accordingly can be beneficial. Ignoring the problem may eventually lead to more severe diseases, which might require surgery. How do I know this? Well, let's just say I didn't want to find out the hard way. Take care of yourself. Pay attention to your own tendencies and constitution. If something feels off, don't ignore it. Listen to your body. Never push yourself to the point of exhaustion. Don't drive yourself to the edge of a cliff thinking you must keep going. It will cost you more in the long run. You are already doing great. Don't be too hard on yourself. Cherish and take care of yourself.
Once upon a time, there was a lovely princess. Once again, the princess woke up to the warm embrace of the morning sunlight.
She woke up.
Ladies and gentlemen, here they are, your very own 5 elements. All right, first up, wood, clearing the path to keep the energy flowing smoothly.
Let's do this. Can't have any blockages now.
And next, fire, raising the temperature to fully wake up the body.
This should burn away any sleepiness.
Uh-oh, Earth is getting to work, reorganizing the stomach, getting ready for whatever's coming in.
Ooh, can't wait to see what's on the menu.
And here comes metal, off to clean up all the waste that piled up overnight.
Phew, can't let the dust settle, sweeping it all away.
Last but not least, water. Rushing in to hydrate every corner of the body.
No time for dryness on my watch.
Oh, wow. The princess is eating chocolate cake first thing in the morning.
Huh? This is not the direction we wanted.
Oops, sorry.
Well, well, well. The 5 elements are furious. What will become of her fate?